Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Karen Johnson. I am a proud Floridian, ex-New Yorker from Queens. Old Queens girl, which I loved. It's part of my journey that made me into the strong person I am today. I am dual practitioner is the new word. It's commercial as well as residential. Was formerly trained in commercial. Started at 18, doing that, formally trained in underwriting. And I decided probably 15 years into that, I'm no longer finding joy because I was doing foreclosures. At that point, after moving from New York to Florida in 2006, I no longer found joy in doing what I was doing because I felt I wasn't helping people. I needed to find that vibrance and that excitement again. And I was doing my MBA at the time, and my husband was the one who said, "Hey, you should get your real estate license." And I was like, "A realtor? I don't want to be a used car salesman." Because like everyone else, you just think that I'm not a soccer mom. I have a bachelor's, I have a master's, I have senior banking experience. And I was like, you know what? I actually really enjoy this and I understand it from the underwriting perspective, from looking at environmental reports, appraisals, etc. My first job in college was I was born in Trinidad. I moved to New York at 17 by myself to go to college. I went to St. John's University and I learned to rough it. I lived in nice places, but I hustled. I hustled. I had to figure out breakfast or the bus. So you had to choose one or the other. But that journey made me where I am today. I'm extremely proud of that journey. I am definitely resilient. I am not a victim. I am always up for the challenge and come out better. Each one of these difficult times that we go through in life makes us stronger. Moved to Florida. The company I was with, it was Washington Mutual at the time. They knew I wanted to move to Florida, so they created a position for me. So I underwrote nationally. I did a lot of California multifamilies. When Washington Mutual moved into New York, I underwrote the first $1 billion of loans. So it was a big time, big scale. Moved to Florida, and I was like, wow. There was a hurricane, and the next day I showed up to work, and no one else showed up to work. And I was like, everybody was like, well, there is no power. There's that. I said, yeah, that was yesterday, but we have power in our building and we have work to do. So the work ethic that I had was something that I brought with me into Florida. And I needed to get something that was more challenging and exciting and people more motivated. I went to Greenpoint Mortgage, had started a commercial, tried to start a commercial division. They were a large they were a large lender throughout the country, a broker throughout the country. They were very successful with residential, tried to create commercial, and had no success. So my job was being a production manager. My job was teaching sales and credit to work together to accomplish a goal. And it's not brain surgery. Commercial is not brain surgery. You have to learn three simple formulas, NOI, cap rates, and etc. And we taught residential real estate agents and realtors to create another source of cash flow by getting these things to fit into this box. So from 500,000 to $3 million, and I would travel. I had 5 states. I was in charge of 5 states, and I would travel to North Carolina, to Georgia, to South Carolina. I was on a plane 2 or 3 times a week teaching people how to learn to do commercial so you can sell. Um, the market crashed right after that. And, you know, I discovered that, you know what, I had to recreate myself because I was actually employed. Lehman was our funder. I got a package paid for a year. I got hired by a lender another bank. And I had a senior position in the bank, but I didn't like it. I said to my husband, I am leaving this. He says, who leaves a six-figure salary with, in a recession? And I said, well, I need to find passion in whatever I do. And unless I have joy, I would never be able to transfer it. So I did that. And I went from making great money to 25,000 my first year as a realtor which was fine because I was not confident in my knowledge. I had the background, I had the financial part of it, but I actually really got involved in education. So I joined the board. It was Fort Lauderdale at the time, and I went to every class possible. Every class possible. I knew no one, I had no network, and I had just moved to Florida. So I learned to meet other realtors and learn from their knowledge base. While doing that, the staff at the board said to me, "Hey, you're pretty smart. You should join this, you should join that." And I was like, all right, let me check it out. The next thing you know, I was on the board. And 2 years later, I was president of the commercial division for the board. I, my local board is Broward Palm Beaches and St. Lucie Realtors. We're the third largest in the country. We have 42,000 members after Miami, Houston, and Florida. I was the president in 2021, and this is very reminiscent of COVID with these meetings, except not wearing pajama pants today. I'm wearing real clothes.
And imagine.
So yeah. So that was just getting involved. And when I realized what I was learning, and after I started to go to advocacy things, that's the thing that actually made me very passionate because I'm a realtor. I want to be proud of being a realtor. But then when you connect with other realtors who feel and understand, because I fight for rent control. I fight for making sure mortgage is tax deductible, for insurance reform. I go to Tallahassee. I actually am a key contact for a state rep in Florida. My state rep is Christine Hoshkowski, who is a personal friend of mine. And when you go, especially when they're new as a state rep or a senator or anything like that, they don't understand what real estate brings to the table and understand. My job is to educate and to communicate. So when they go to pass bills, etc. So I decided not to just be a realtor who talks. I wanted to be part of the change. During that process of being involved locally, I actually, Florida Realtors, I'm heavily involved. I've chaired a number of meetings. Actually, I was just filling out an application a couple of days ago, and I've been on 80 something committees. For National Association of Realtors, I have been on the finance committee, which is one of the top tier, most difficult committees, because I made the ask and I have the experience for it. And sometimes you need a new brain uh, to change things up. And
And so thanks for transitioning into that because that's where I wanted to go because I think all of your experience with serving here and there led you to NAR. And so I want you to talk briefly about that experience and what's actually happening because with all the lawsuit stuff, how has NAR been impacted in you personally? So speak to that for us.
so I've been a NAR director for the past since 2017. Um, and as a director, you actually get to vote and get involved and understand things in a deeper level. But I've also been on several committees, and committees is where work is done, and you understand the advocacy. We have 2 meetings per year that we go in person, plus we go to Advocacy Week in DC. And then in the end of May, early June, we actually go and speak to our state representatives, senators, etc., about realtor issues. So many of us live in areas that, like Florida, for example, that benefited from COVID. Our market prospered because we had such a large advocacy voice that we made sure that happened. This pin that I'm wearing is something that I hold dear and near to me because it's an RPAC pin. It's the Realtor Party. And basically, that's the money that we use for advocacy. And that's one of the major reasons we are NAR because our voice is so strong, political clout, etc. When you get to understand that part of it, I was on finance for 4 years and I was the vice chair of investments and reserves in a very difficult year because I was the vice chair when we had to allocate the funds last year, which was a very tough. Um, we're volunteers. I spend probably 50% of my time doing this. But I guess for all those who don't care about the volunteer part, I actually consistently am an individual agent. and I do 25 to 30 million per year by myself. I have a transaction coordinator. And not overnight, it was a buildup from when I started. And as
Okay.
when I started, I was the $40,000 condo queen. And you have to touch the people that you know first. So I was international. I came from New York as well, so I had that connection. Very social. I have two personalities. I work hard and I play hard. So and makes life balanced because Ben is probably judging me because I just came back from Carnival Trinidad with my costume that is
I
not that
love,
skimpy
I
compared
love
to
it.
everyone else.
Yes.
So versatile, but I have a support system that is unmatched. My husband, who has been my partner for over 30 years. My 16 going on 17-year-old who is knows everything because he's a teenager. And I am very blessed. My mom lives with us. So I get my coffee and my hard-boiled egg every morning ready for me. And I have every support that I could possibly want. So I'm very blessed with good people in a support system. JP, my husband, is my sign guy, open house, red carpet, rolls out. And if he's late, I'm mad. You should have picked up these signs 5 minutes ago. So, but it's about balance. So back to NER. On the finance committee, I've learned such intricacies and the benefits and all the services that we have. Just as many of you are with KW, and I know there's so much things that we have available to us and tools. I know I leave a lot on the table, but if you take the time to see the tools that's there for you to be better, the voice that we have, the representation that we have, it is amazing. And I wish each one of you could at least volunteer in one committee just so you understand, even on the local level, or go to your city meetings because you impact change. Because the consumer looks at us as just money grabbers or we don't
Absolutely.
care about people, right? The thing is, if you're authentic and you actually care to implement change, referrals come to you. They come because people want to be associated with people who actually care about the communities, not just their dollars. Yes, I care about their dollars, and that's why I do residential and commercial, but I am formally trained in commercial. It's stupid of me not to sell residential where I live because of the price point. I've been in my community for 15 years. I know it very well. I fought against builders at city meetings, school boards, etc. I'm a tree hugger in that way, where I actually grassroots, where you actually be a part of the change. You meet a lot of people that way because we have similarities. So people do point that out. Last year, I was asked by our current president, Kevin Sears, who's an amazing person, just because of all the advocacy work and the times that we've been together. They select people throughout the country. He has a selection of something called a liaison. So you have the president, you have the 3 or 4 people on the leadership group, and then they basically, I call myself a disciple. Um, Basically, my job is to manage. I am the commercial liaison for 2025. So I have about 10 committees that I am the in between the senior people at NER and staff and the committee to make sure we actually do changes. So some of the committees I'm in charge of is the commercial committee, the federal policy committee for commercial, second homes, investments, property management forum. So my job is to actually give them what they need, the tools, create work groups to see what kind of issues that we're having in the marketplace or how can we better serve our members. So I'm an extremely proud NAR member because I see the value of it. And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, they say bad things, whatever, but they don't take time to understand what is going on. And this voice that we have that actually cares about our consumers, our people that there's so many of us. There is 1.5 million members of NAR,
Yes.
right? So our voices really, if you do not, and only a few of us by percentage actually produce. But if we treat this, because I want to be well respected, like a teacher, like a doctor, like an attorney, because I spend the time, the money, the effort, and the hours like any of those professionals to get there. The barrier to entry is low, so everyone has an opportunity, but it's up to you to make that change. So if you can give you a fair share of art for RPAC, because you see the things that it does do, even if it's $25. I am a double Hall of Fame. Um, Golden R, we go to, I just came back from President's Circle in Orlando, and basically it's not Democratic or Republican, it's both parties, and we have conversations because they understand. So the best way I could describe it is like we're a very powerful union with a lot of power. And being a part of that union is extremely important for the fact that your commissions are not taxed is because of our voice. So just don't say about the other things, understand that as well. So I guess that's my spiel and take it from wherever you want to.
Well, it's really the reason why I feel like once we met, I've been after you because
Mhm.
I've never met someone who is so involved at such a high level, especially within AR. So again, I appreciate the work that you're doing there, the advocacy that you have for us. I think is special, and that's why I was so excited, one, just to have you on, because I think the majority of the folks here and outside have no idea how hard NAR works for us. Um, and we need to know. Now, here's a very pointed question, especially after 2024, because we heard the numbers at Family Reunion. I've heard them with Mike Ferry or Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, all these guys. What is NAR doing when last year almost 75% of agents in the country didn't even sell one home? Is there anything that they're doing to either change that, force some of those folks out, not that they want to, or, from an education standpoint, is there anything that NAR is doing to address that? Because I think that number is mind blowing when you hear that, yeah, really only 25% of agents in the country sold one home. And then when you look at agents who sold more than 20 or 30 homes, we're talking about 1 or 2%. And I know the numbers you do because we were in the same room together. What does that look like? And how is that happening?
So, and this is not a problem because of last year. This is a problem across the board, right? So, for example, I'm taking my NAR hat off and I'm talking as a realtor.
Amen.
Um, you know what? I'm okay with you paying for your membership and not doing anything because you know what? It makes me succeed. So, as you know, in this business, what you give is what you get, right? So if you're willing to put in the work, it doesn't happen immediately. It builds. It builds. Referrals, systems, etc. It builds. So from that perspective, I'm okay with, you know what, you pay a membership and you choose not to do it or you're lazy or you expect someone to be handing you off referrals or something. And for example, I have like 7 open houses I would like to do this week, and I'm asking people, and they're new, but they can't do it or they don't want to do it or they only want to do it the first weekend. So if you're willing to work and put in the time, it's okay. You will get the rewards. So it is not an NAR problem. It's a people problem or barrier to entry because guess what? All of our states get money from renewals or from every time someone gets a license. Why would they make it more difficult? That's an income stream. We're business people, right? So why not make the barrier to entry? So that's why people add on and do certifications or say I'm going to be a luxury designation or I'm going to get my CCIM designation. We add to that as well because you know what? It gives everyone, you have an equal playing field to begin with, but you get what you want out of it.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've said this that uh, idiots and experts, we in many cases we're paid the same, but we don't earn the same.
Correct.
So, and I think this is a real opportunity for us to really separate ourselves from the masses and level up and elevate so that we can't be ignored, that we're being sought after, right? We go from being underappreciated to now being overbooked. And for me, that's exciting because I've committed that 2025 will be one of my top 2 or top 3 years. And again, like you, I've done this now approaching 36 years. I know we've done it a long time, and I'm really excited about what this year holds. Now, it started slow for me, but I've got my finger on the pulse of this office, and we're roughly 600 agents, and I'm on the leadership team here. So I'm seeing the numbers start to improve and feeling the momentum. So I hope the same is happening there in the bulk of Miami, Parkland area for you. And I know that it is. So let me ask you this real quick. Between your commercial business and residential, what's the percentage breakdown there? Because of the size is the commercial side significant?
No, no, it's not. The average commercial is probably anywhere from 2 to 3.5 million. I do probably about 20 to 25%, because my price point has changed with my residential as well. Most of my commercial, and this is why we should be networking, most of my commercial comes from residential agents who are not aware of how to do commercial. They have the relationship. My job is to create partnerships. So I am the commercial agent for residential agents. Everyone thinks they know everything, but I will get you to the closing table. You can do this. The good thing about commercial, it's about the numbers, right? So you can do the kissing and hugging, and let me run the numbers and let me negotiate, right? So I have a balance in that way. So I'm working on two right now. But I get a lot also from my sphere who is looking to expand on their, and then I also purchased a commercial property a couple years ago, right after COVID. It was a great opportunity. And I was like, you know what, I'm jumping out of managing people and actually managing a business, right? So we traded in a few doors to get a commercial property that is triple net lease, that 5-year lease, and I just make sure and collect the rent checks, and that's it. So it's about creating the lifestyle that I want. We can take vacations, we can do, I mean, I work a lot and I have a lot of things that I know I'm not great at, and I know what it is, but I'm very passionate about what I do and what I love. So because of JP, my husband, again, we need to create the six sources of income. So we do that. We have, property. We have a business that we started a few years ago as well, which is finally doing really well. It's a mold remediation business that we are partners on. So we live in Florida, and there's a lot of opportunity when it comes there. And there's a lot of like realtors. There's a lot of them, but there's a lot of unethical people also taking advantage of people. So I think with a good value and being real with people, you get a lot of referrals. And a lot of my friends, referrals from real estate friends, is like, hey, Karen, I have this listing with this problem. What do you think about it? And I refer it out. Dad, your portfolio, building the life that you want, because, what do we work for? We work for special occasions to create memories, because I don't want to have regrets looking back. I want to have a life that my integrity is intact, my family's taken care of, and I'm filled with love and friendships around.
I love it. Karen, yeah,
Mhm.
as our time grows near, um, speak to the newer agents that are either on today or that will see this, because in the
Mhm.
next, so this will be posted on our YouTube channel, and we really use it as a training module for many. Speak to a new agent. Give me one thing that you would suggest that they do to succeed in this and really separate themselves from the 75% of agents in the US who didn't close even one transaction. Give me something.
This is an opportunity. There's a lot of people who start at 21 years old and they're into the social media and everything like that, and take advantage of it where we had to learn it.
Okay.
There is so much opportunity. You could start at any age and you could have it after being a teacher, being a firefighter, etc. Um, what I would have done different that I didn't know back then is starting with the right company, because I just happened to like fall into it, and I went to great company, small, but the training that KW has, if I had started that earlier on and building a database and not having to catch up later on, is actually creating that database, getting the knowledge, and starting building your foundation. I think that would be the best way to start, taking it in and not just think about money, think about having quality, and money will come.
Amen. Amen. And you said something that I think should resonate with most. Joy. If you didn't feel the joy, again, you gave up a nice six figure, right, to step into this real estate space and make 25,000. Like you, I left a corporate job and I stepped into my first year in real estate and I made $18,000, right? But I was way more happier at 18 than I was making significantly more than that. So find the joy, and hopefully you're doing this for all the right reasons because you have a servant's heart. You love people, not because you're in it for the money, because I say it all the time. If you're in
Hmm.
it for the money, you'll never make any, right?
Correct.
Find your passion, find your joy, and enjoy life. Like Karen, I mean, I love following you. And again, hopefully you won't mind this, but a friend of mine, Natalie, is also on. And what have I called you? I've called you the casino queen.
Yes, you have. Yeah, yes,
All
you have.
right.
Because Beverly, yes, because Beverly Shanahan, who was not on the call because she's at her daughter's golf tournament, had said to her, we were just talking and we're like, all right, so we like to go all in, and sometimes and she mentioned to you that I had won a jackpot, and that's why you called me the casino queen. But yes.
And again, you're
Mhm.
travel. And again, I think with so much volunteering that you do with NAR and your local boards, again, you find the time for things that are important. And so, I mean, you're spread out all over the place. But again, don't lose sight of that. Again, we make time for what's truly important. And yes, we all know family is probably top of that list, but there are other things that you can commit to and support that, believe it or not, will really help either your growth, your business. There's real benefit in serving. And so, like Karen, serve, and trust me, I believe that you'll be rewarded for it because your heart is in the right place.
I appreciate
Right.
that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, indeed. As we leave, is there anything else we need to know?
No, I'm just saying work hard, play hard, but actually do the right thing, right? Because no, even when people are not watching, be able to sleep at night and continue doing what you're doing. And for those who are newer, keep at it. It gets better.